Good day. My name is John T. Sachs, and I'm a partner at a business called Jaltech, and we specialize in Section 12J fund formation and administration. Today, I'll give you an overview of the Section 12J market. Section 12J was introduced in 2009, and what this graph demonstrates is that from 2009 till 2015, very few Section 12J venture capital companies were registered, and this was largely due to the various restrictions in the legislation at the time. For example, the tax benefit was more of a deferment in tax. In other words, if you invested and you received the tax refund, you would then have to repay the full refund at the end of the investment term. This restriction was obviously done away with, along with other restrictions. When they were done away with, it took some time for the market to get updated. And then from 2015 till today, we are seeing a significant amount, or we've seen a significant amount of Section 12J companies being registered. And currently the numbers at approximately 188. Of the 188, only approximately 120 are active. These are Section 12J funds that are actively raising capital in the market. The Section 12J market has grown significantly over the last few years, with 2019 being the most significant, where over 3.5 billion rand was invested. The last financial year we saw the total investments of approximately 1.8 billion rand. The reduction by almost 50% from the previous year is largely due to the amendments in Section 12J, whereby investors were capped in terms of how much they could deduct annually. And the annual cap is 2.5 million for individuals and trusts and 5 million for corporates. Although the cap was introduced, the effect is largely on the fund managers, because these fund managers and some are reliant on large investors to invest into their fund. And due to the limitation, now the investors investing more than 2.5 million or 5 million are unable to do so. Historically, some investors would invest more than 100 million rand into a Section 12J fund. From an investor perspective, very little influence. We saw in our business a growth in 300% in total number of investors in this past financial year. So there has been a significant interest. Average investors are investing approximately 400 to 500,000 rand per investment. If we look at where investors were investing, in the far right column, 2019, 58% of investors went into property-backed investments, 20% went into asset-backed, whether that be asset rental or renewable energy, and 22% into private equity and venture capital investments, and Section 12J investments. And these are typically Section 12Js that invest into tech startup businesses, pure venture capital, much higher risk investments. Interestingly, in 2020, probably saw a significant reduction to only 39%, asset-backed 31%, and private equity 30%. My personal view is I think private equity will continue to grow, particularly with the COVID epidemic. I think the private equity opportunity in the South African market is quite significant, and it'll provide investors with much higher returns if the investments do well. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. If you'd like to understand more about Section 12J, please have a look at our other videos. Thank you for joining.